Access to Democracy is made possible thanks to the following organizations. Sheridan & Dulas, PA, a family and criminal defense law firm that has been serving clients in Dakota County and throughout Minnesota for over 40 years. Ranked a Tier 1 Best Law Firm by U.S. News and World Report every year since 2009. Sheridan & Dulas are here to help you in your most difficult life circumstances. Established in 2007, 45th Parallel Distillery was among the first 50 micro-distilleries in the United States. Based in New Richmond, Wisconsin, all aspects of production occur at their facility. If you're interested in learning more about the 45th Parallel Distillery, please check their website and plan a visit to tour their facility and taste their spirits. Trustone Financial, with locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, has proudly served its members since 1939. Trustone engages, educates, and supports its members to ensure they have the tools to empower their financial well-being. Trustone Financial, your neighborhood credit union. Learn more at trustone.org.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Access to Democracy. I'm your host, Steve Francisco. It's a real pleasure to welcome to our studio today one of our sponsors. Dale Turner is the president and CEO of Trustone Financial Credit Union. Dale, welcome back to Access to Democracy.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Appreciate it.
I was just reminded when we were talking in the hallway earlier, you had been on the program previously, I believe, during the pandemic, and my colleague Alan Miller had interviewed you back then.
Yeah, a different world then during COVID, but Alan and I spent a little time together remotely in discussion of it, and it was a great time. So thanks for having me back.
Very good. Glad you could join us today.
Absolutely.
So, Dale, tell our viewers, you're not originally from Minnesota, are you? I hear a rumor that you're a Hoosier originally.
I am. You nailed it. I am from Indiana. I grew up in Indiana, went to college, did my undergrad work there, and this is my second stint in Minnesota. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. I spent a little time here post undergrad, and then most recently, the last 6 years, my wife and I call Minnesota home, so we're excited to be back, and we don't plan on sneaking away anytime soon, that's for sure.
Pretty good place to live, isn't it?
We absolutely
Even
love it.
despite the sometimes harsh winters.
You know, we've got an 11-month-old baby right now, and he loves it. He loves to jump in the snow, he loves the lake life, so we really enjoy it, and he does too.
That's great. So give us an overview about Trustone Financial Credit Union. Tell us a little bit about it. How big is it? How many assets do you have? How many members do you have?
Yeah, we have about 220,000 members, consumers that utilize our products and services. We have 23 branches throughout Minnesota and Wisconsin. In asset size, oftentimes banks and credit unions, financial services are weighed and measured in assets. We're about $5.6 billion in assets. We offer primarily retail consumer products. Think a mortgage, an auto loan, if you need a credit card, if you need a checking account. Those are the types of products and services we supply, and 23 branches throughout the Minnesota and Wisconsin state to ensure that our consumers not only can call in or utilize their mobile banking app, but also can visit branches.
Right. And obviously people, your members visiting branches, but they can also visit ATMs, right, if they want to make a cash withdrawal.
Yes.
And when we talk about ATMs, your reach is actually much larger, isn't it, beyond the branches?
We have a massive network, over 40,000 of our network ATMs that span across the nation. That's actually even more ATMs than U.S. Bank and Wells Fargo combined.
Very interesting. And how many employees do you currently have at Trustone?
We have about 550 employees approximately. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we get a large, good percentage. A majority of those employees are within the Twin Cities area.
Mm-hmm. Dale, could you give our viewers a little bit of a sense? What are the differences between a traditional commercial bank and a credit union? Yeah. What are some of the differences?
Yeah, great question. Oftentimes people don't realize that credit unions are owned by the member. They're nonprofit, so our focus is not, primary focus is not to make money, but rather to ensure that consumers, our members, really get the services and the products that they need and they deserve. So our primary focus is really ensuring that our members understand, have a financial plan for themselves, whether that be getting a mortgage, getting a credit card, an auto loan. So obviously generating capital and ensuring that there's some type of profitability makes a strong business. But more importantly, we're really focusing on the consumer and member every single time. Whereas banks, oftentimes, if they have shareholders, they're really focusing on efficiency ratios. What's the share price? We're really looking at what the consumer's impact. We look at it this way. We're really accomplishing not what we sell to our members, but rather what we accomplish with our members.
And so your members, being member-owned, they're part of the governance structure. Your board of directors made up of people who are members too?
Yeah, our board of directors is all volunteer. So there are elections every year, nominations every year.
How big is your board?
13 board members.
Oh.
And then we have 5 supervisory committee members that help us with the supervisory and the audit side of it.
Mm-hmm. So give us a sense, how does Trustone define what its mission is in the community?
Yeah, great question. First of all, from a community standpoint, we have really doubled down on moving from community involvement to community impact. We have thousands of hours that are going into the community, even just year to date, from our employees, really focusing on what the community needs and what we can do to support that. Mm-hmm. Think education, scholarships, supporting any type of nonprofit that's utilizing that's really focused on homelessness or feeding those who need it most. That's really where the impact is. The great thing about a credit union, our focus on the credit union side, is we're locally owned by members. We're really focused on the members. So it's not some kind of underwriting department or some type of corporate office over in San Francisco or over in New York, but rather we live, we breathe, we're right here in the community. We see it growing. We're helping in parks. We're helping in any events that really make an impact in the community versus simply being away from the community and not knowing the community and its people.
So give our viewers, if you would, Dale, some sense of some of the different financial products and services that you make available.
Yeah, great question. We think about anything from a consumer financial service product that they would need. So your first checking account, your first savings account when you're just growing up, maybe you're 13, 14, 15 years old, your parents introduce you to financial services, it's time to start saving that paycheck, all the way to certificates of deposit if you start saving money as you grow in, loans, your first auto loan to make sure you can get to work, whether it be that lawn care job or you're working in an office or an intern somewhere, that car loan is going to be important. And then as you graduate through the financial products and services, your first mortgage. Think about even a small business loan. Any of those types of products or services, or even business vehicle loans. So we're really spanning the product lines and services throughout that entire financial journey for consumers.
One question that some people may wonder about is, do credit unions such as Trustone have different criteria for how they assess eligibility for a loan compared to a commercial bank?
Yeah.
Are there differences, and what would those be?
The general credit quality is fairly similar, but I will tell you our rates are generally better. Oftentimes we don't have to yield this massive share value, or we're not talking to Wall Street and trying to get some type of yield out of the stock. So that really allows us to take some of that yield, some of that margin, and give it back to the consumers, whether that be through better services, lower fees, or lower rates from the products that they get from us.
Right. I understand that Trustone has made some rather significant investments in technology. Technology is always changing. It affects your industry, the banking, financial services industry, the way it does every other business. Tell us about some of those technological changes that are occurring at Trustone and in the financial sector generally.
You bet. Well, first and foremost, technology is changing faster than ever. This morning I woke up and saw robots walking on the street. They were talking about some of the evolutions of robots happening and how quickly that's changing. Artificial intelligence, if people are now just transitioning from Google searches all the way to utilizing generative models to learn ChatGPT or Gemini. So it's just fascinating. We're utilizing and leveraging a lot of technology to focus on ensuring that the consumer gets the product and service that they need. To make it easier, more efficient and effective. So things like AI in the back office to understand and consume policies and procedures for our team members to answer questions quicker and more abbreviated to our members. We're also utilizing a chatbot called Ruth. Ruth is an individual that worked for our organization back in the 1950s. She was a bookkeeper. Well, we've rebuilt Ruth, and now she is a robot in a sense. She's an AI model that helps answer any consumer's questions if they call in, and rather than wait for a couple minutes or maybe a minute to talk to an individual, they can just get the answer quickly by getting their current balance. Let's say they wanted to get their last transaction date or information. Then we can utilize and leverage Ruth from a technology perspective, which gets the questions answered accurately but quicker than ever.
How are your members, how are your members receiving that? Talking to a robot as opposed to maybe a real person?
Yeah, well, Ruth, first of all, is very, very friendly. She's got to be the most productive and friendliest robot that we've ever encountered. But they are taking it very well. They love to get their answers. It's very accurate. It's abbreviated. It gets the answers as quick as possible to them. And if they ever want to talk to a regular agent or individual agent that we have, they can jump on that line too. But generally, what we're seeing is a significant percentage of the questions asked by Ruth are answered and they're satisfied with it.
And tell us about, what is True Assist?
True Assist is the opportunity for, is the product or service to allow members to utilize any of the products or service questions that they may have through True Assist. So to just assist them in any product or service questions that they may have, which is great. I mean, why wait on the line? Or if you have a specific question that you know is a pretty binary question, we get those answers. They get those answers quicker than they ever have before.
Right. That's great. I think a concern for a lot of consumers today, we hear so much in the news about financial crimes, financial fraud.
Yeah.
Describe for us, if you would, Dale, what are some of the steps that Trustone takes to protect members' financial information and their security that is online? What kind of steps or investments have you made to protect that information?
Yeah, first and foremost, bad actors are getting smarter than ever. There's so many spam schemes out there. There's social engineering where they're collecting data from social websites like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. They're accumulating this information and they're manipulating that information to get access to certain accounts. Trustone puts the very top pinnacle of focus on protecting our members. So we have dual authentication, multi-authentication for our mobile apps, as well as access into our website to ensure that our members are protected. We're looking at anti-spoof softwares that we've been utilizing for a multitude of years now, which ensures that they can't spoof our website or compromise our website by any means. We really spend a lot of time and effort and staff training. Our team members are critical pieces of ensuring that our consumers are protected. So we spend a lot of time ensuring that our team members are educated. We also go straight to the member. Member education is critically important. Some like to hear it straight from as they say, the horse's mouth. So we go out to the members and make sure they're educated. A good example would be we're the title sponsor recently of the World Elder Awareness Organization. We were a keynote speaker there, and we were ensuring that we were getting the information out to protect consumers. We can't be more diligent than ever right now with some of the changing technology, but protecting our consumers is the top of mind every single day I come into the office, frankly.
And we should mention too that just as with commercial banks, I believe members' deposits in savings accounts, they are insured, correct?
Yeah, we have FDIC insurance up to $250,000, and
Federal
even
Deposit
over those
Insurance Corporation.
Bingo. Yep.
Yeah.
Steve, you've done your research. But we also have insurance. We can get additional insurance over those limits oftentimes. So if someone's looking for a larger insurance amount, if they keep more than $250,000, we can help facilitate that as well.
And Tell us a little bit about some of your community involvement, a little bit more about community involvement. One of the things we should mention right at the top is that Trustone for some years now has been a sponsor of this very program, Access to Democracy, for which we're very grateful. Hope you'll be a sponsor for a long time.
Absolutely.
But tell us about some of your other community support that you do.
Yeah, well, if you were to look at through this year, for example, our team members have put over 2,100 hours into the community to support it. And that goes back to those volunteer hours that truly make community impactful changes versus just being involved or just showing up. Our foundation scholarships have awarded over $130,000 this year alone. So that's dozens of students throughout the states of Minnesota and Wisconsin to ensure that they're able to get support for their education. And that's a big part of it. We are the title sponsor, as some people know, of the Minnesota State High School League. That's a critical piece for athletics, academics, as well as arts. Toys for Tots, you talk about the state hockey tournament, those types of programs, as well as focusing on education generally, is really where we plan and continue to make our impact in.
You mentioned education. I want to go back. We were talking before the program began today about the importance of financial education. Trustone has made a big commitment in this area of educating consumers about things such as how to look for a mortgage, what kinds of questions to ask, what kinds of information you need, how to look for a car loan, understanding basic information about investments. And Trustone offers some services and products in this area too, don't you?
We do, yeah. One of our most popular events that we do throughout the year is home buying seminars. So some of the most complicated transactions have to do with home buying. So that is a critical piece of what we think is the journey of financial awareness and the financial life cycle. A recent stat that just came out in the Wall Street Journal this week, the average first-time home buyer now is 38 years old. That's a difference than what it used to be in the 20s.
I bought my first home, I was 32 years old.
Yeah, so it's much older for the average first-time home buyer now. The more education we can provide to our members and consumers, the better off they'll be for their financial journey.
And are those courses free for your members, or do they pay a fee?
They are. They're completely free.
And how do you finance those courses? How does Trustone provide those courses?
We have experts throughout our organization that are educated and informed on secondary market guidelines, how to buy a home, what's it like working with a realtor. So that's a critical piece, and what we have within the walls of Trustone per se. So they're able to educate our consumers and ensure that they're getting the best knowledge to go forward.
Trustone participates in something called the Minnesota Credit Union Network. Say a word about that. What is the Credit Union Network, and what is Trustone's participation in that?
Yeah, the Minnesota Credit Union Network really ensures and supports us through legislative support, understanding some of the regulations either that have been implemented.
State, federal, both?
State and federal, yep. Primarily focus on the state side, but make us aware as well and support us through any federal changes as it relates to to some of the charter rules, any type of the applicable rules and laws that apply to credit unions. They're a big supporter. They also support us in some of the fundraising or supporting and impacting the community. It's a great organization that we support. MinCune is a significant contributor to making sure that we carry out our mission.
On the legislative front, is it the case sometimes that members of the credit union network find themselves on the opposite side of the commercial banking industry in terms of legislation, either at the state or federal level?
Oftentimes, it usually is evolved around the topic of taxation. Generally, banks and credit unions, that is one of the primary differences between the two. Banks at times may see an unfair advantage, but they, at the same time, we're giving directly back to consumers and members. So that seems to be, if there's a topic that's different, there's a difference between the community banks and the credit unions, it's generally the topic of taxation.
Interesting. Very important for any institution, especially a service-oriented provider such as Trustone or any business in the service industry, is how the employees treat the customers. Give us an overview, if you would, about what kind of training Trustone provides for its employees.
Yeah.
And do you promote from within, or do you tend to fill vacancies by going outside the organization?
We do. First of all, we really believe that the secret sauce, or a part of that secret sauce at Trustone, is ensuring that your team members are supported, they're educated, they have the resources to help the member. So we spend a lot of time, effort, and energy into ensuring these team members know the products, they know the services, they go through empathy training. So putting yourself into other people's shoes. We also have leadership program initiatives that allow people to graduate through leadership programs. We have internship programs, so we had 8 amazing interns this past year that spent a lot of time with us. They were not only in community events, but also were in each business unit meetings. So we really do a lot to support team members being educated to help consumers, whether that be leadership training, product and service training, internships. That's really a focus of ours because that is our secret sauce.
Have you ever had some interns who actually have ended up working full-time, have received full-time job offers working at Trustone?
Steve, it is ironic that you said that, and we're not even leading. I didn't tell you this, but we just hired our first intern from this last year's intern group. She just started, I believe, within the last week or two. So yeah, it's very often we're looking for them. They're already trained up. They know our culture. They know a lot about our organization. They enjoy it. So if there's a chance those needs meet and there's an opportunity for them, we'd hire them.
So for a young person who may be looking at careers and perhaps thinking, maybe I want a career in financial services, maybe working at a credit union like Trustone, they should perhaps check that opportunity
Absolutely.
out.
Yep. I had an internship myself at an insurance company. That's where I really learned how I loved some of the insurance services, and then I fell in love really with the financial services piece and helping people. So that was a part of my path as well.
Give us a view, what do you see as changes on the horizon in the financial services industry? You know, we mentioned earlier, Dale, that you're constantly seeing so many changes coming to financial services. What do you see on the horizon?
Yeah, great question, and I think a topic for the viewers. First and foremost, financial markets have never been, I think, more challenging than now. I used to remember when my father, even my grandfather, would say, "Hey, I'm going into town," and I would be going into town because they would go and get supplies, maybe for the week or even for a couple weeks. There was really only one source to spend your money, and it's if you went out somewhere, you could engage. The world is completely different from 30, 40 years ago. You can spend your money in any way possible. So if you look at home ownership going later and the cost of homes being more expensive than they've ever been throughout our lifetime, cars they're more expensive than they've ever been. Subscriptions, even to any type of subscription or service, now cost things. You can spend money at a whim, whether it's a want or a need. It's very easy to expend that monetary piece, right? So what does that say as it relates to our future here? Well, financial awareness is more important than ever. So you look at technology and utilizing and leveraging financial education, utilizing any type of expertise that you can find, and that's what a credit union is for. We have the education, we have the support, and we have the technology. So mobile banking, checking your balance, setting up your notifications, getting a new product or service that fits for your needs, all of that is wrapped around this cohesive technology. The great thing about Trustone as well is if you by chance don't want to utilize our mobile app or look at our budgeting technology that we utilize and leverage, if you just want to come into a branch and talk to a trusted resource, you can do that too. So we fit multiple needs, whether it be a high-tech individual or a high-touch person. Either way, you're going to win in Trustone side.
Very good. I want to ask you about an issue that a lot of people are reading and hearing about, and frankly, probably don't know much about. That is the issue of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Do you see banks and credit unions becoming more involved with these devices with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? You know, we hear stories in the news about people putting a lot of money in. Right now, Bitcoin seems to be on an upswing, but it's also gone way down in recent years too, depending on what you're buying. Is this part of the future of the financial services industry?
Yeah, great
And
topic.
what kind of regulatory measures do you think need to be put in place to protect consumers?
Yeah, we are seeing finally legislative changes to help support, I would say, the inclusion of stable coin and those types of cryptocurrency products, which are different, by the way. You could have a whole nother session. We could probably have another time on this topic. But the long story short is, as you look at the new administration, the Trump administration coming in, they have been very pro on stable coin and utilizing and leveraging this more efficient process of blockchain. And I would say broadly, the blockchain and utilization of ledgers like this are going to be more efficient and effective. But the legislation needs to keep up with the technology, and that's what's happening right now. So it will take some time before banks and credit unions really dive in deep on this. But we're at a wait and see and watch closely to ensure that we're there to support. But right now we are not offering products or services that fall within the confines of crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other cryptocurrencies.
One of the issues that's been in the news recently with respect to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin has been concern about the regulatory environment. And will future regulations really be written to protect consumers, or are they going to be written by the people who stand to profit from the sale of these items?
Yeah. Consider myself an internal optimist, but I think and I hope that the legislation will support the consumers oftentimes, which is how mortgage regulations are created, how fee limitations and usury rates are introduced. So I have optimism that the legislation will be appropriate for consumers to be protected.
As the leader of Trustone, where do you hope to see Trustone 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Yeah. You know, if we can continue...
I know it's hard to say, let's pull the crystal ball out here and look, but if you did, what would you like to see?
Yeah. I hope that consumers find a need for us. They like our products and services. We listen to our members every single day. What products they need, what products we need to change or calibrate to, some of the services that they need. We've added business lending, for example, over the last few years. We've added new products and services in the checking features to ensure that they can get their payday, for example, early payday. They can get payday 2 days earlier than their standard posting. So really, the goal in 5 years would be to even be more connected to our consumer than we've ever been before, making sure our members find value in Trustone and ensuring that we're with them along the financial pathway.
Right now, you mentioned at the outset that Trustone is doing business with branches in Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Do you see in the future that you'll be expanding into any other neighboring states, perhaps Iowa or the Dakotas?
There's a possibility, but our real focus right now is knowing what we know best, and that's Minnesota and Wisconsin. We're opening a new branch in New Berlin, which will open before the end of the year. And we have a local Twin Cities branch that we're opening as well. So we're really ensuring that the members see that.
The new Twin Cities branch?
Our Twin Cities branch is, I can't believe I just forgot the location of it.
Or what city, if you don't?
Here's the positive on that is we're opening so many new branches over the last few years. We're really excited for that.
Yeah.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
That's okay. And viewers, well, that brings me actually to my last question, which is where can viewers go to learn more about Trustone?
Great.
Because the new branches will be listed on your website shortly, too.
Trustone.org is where you'd find that.
So they can learn more there about all of these different products and services we've talked about Trustone's involvement in the community, the various initiatives that you support, and
bingo, products, services, locations, our ATM network, which people just love because there's so many options. They can find an ATM network everywhere, as well as some of our new upcoming locations that will move us from 23 branches to 25 branches, which is super exciting.
Very good. Well, congratulations on the growth at Trustone.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you for being a sponsor of this program. And Dale Turner, President and CEO of Trustone Financial Credit Union, thank you for being our guest today on Access to Democracy.
Thanks so much, Steve. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.